Hello everyone, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Sure. Can we grab you? Sure. Oh, yeah. 8 years. I want to do it, right? Yeah, I want to. Oh, thank you.
Yes, I do. Oh, no.
You should say that on the air.
I will.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that lemon light city, sweet Hope, Chicago. 22 is 4, 4, 4, 6. Come on, baby, now get your business fixed. Come on, honey, don't you?
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine show with the greatest cameraman around, Sonny Hirsch, and your host of all hosts, Avi Myers.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Myers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web at www.ntnm.org, where you can watch all our videos over the past, whatever it is, I guess 3 years or so right now. We're having a record year this year. The first year there were about 21,000 videos watched. The second year we went up to about 37, and this year we're right around the 70,000 mark, near the end of the year, so it's pretty cool. And it keeps growing all the time. Thank you so much for checking us out. Election time, of course. Aldermanic candidates? Yeah, of course we're going to do that. And we are pleased to have a candidate for alderman in the 2nd Ward, Enrique Perez. How you doing?
Hello, how are you, sir?
Good, thank you.
Good to meet you.
My pleasure. And I want to thank Poppy Perez, I can't roll the R's quite as well as he can, for bringing it to my attention and coming here today. And tell us about, why did you decide to run for alderman?
Well, thank you very much, Avi, for having me here. I appreciate being on your show. Any election is really a couple of things. It's sort of a look back and a referendum on existing policies and leadership, but it's also an alternative presentation of choices. In looking at my background and looking at a lot of what I've done in the neighborhood, mainly in the South Loop where I've lived for 11 years, I've really gotten involved in different aspects of the community and also in various aspects of how City Hall operates around zoning changes and around schools and parks and how it affects my community. So for those reasons, I really want to get in there and basically come up with a better way of doing things at the city level, at the aldermanic level, in terms of how city services are applied, in terms of how we plan for schools, how we plan for development, and just the whole process of governance at the ward level. I want to really get in there and be able to raise the issues that affect the 2nd Ward, not just the South Loop, but the West Loop, the Near West Side, the Gap area as well, because the 2nd Ward is really huge. It's really diverse, and it's one of the fastest growing populated areas of the city. Every time there's a remap every 10 years, the wards are redistricted to be equally, more or less, population-wise. But because of all the growth in the South Loop and in the West Loop, the 2nd Ward has really, really grown. It's become very, very diverse. It's become a microcosm of the city of Chicago in a lot of ways because of its diversity. But that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it, and this is getting outside just of my home neighborhood, the South Loop, and getting over into like the West Side, for example, the 2nd Ward has kind of become a tale of two wards in a lot of ways. And I mean that in the Charles Dickinson sense, in terms of how there's a lot of, some might say, overdevelopment in the South Loop or in the West Loop, but then when you get further west, west of Ashland, west of Western, you have areas that are really in desperate need of development. You have food deserts, you have schools that are really struggling, you have higher crime rates, although crime seems to kind of also starting to crop up in areas of the South Loop as well. So for a whole multitude of reasons, and for the belief that at least I can get in there and raise these issues and come up with a better way of doing things, alternate ideas, new solutions, I've thrown my hat into the ring. I submitted my signature petitions. And I'm ramping up my campaign to really take these issues to all parts of the ward, to start attending the forums, to start going door to door, which I have been already, and really talking to people, engaging the electorate. It's going to be a really exciting election. The mayor's race is up for grabs. There could very well be a huge number of new aldermanic seats up for grabs. So this is really a time not just to focus, well, for the voters of the second ward on the issues of the second ward, but for the entire city of Chicago to really look at everything that affects the entire city, and look at where the existing leadership across all 50 aldermen and across the mayoralship and everything, where it's taken us, and then where we really need to go. So I want to present, at least for the second ward, an alternate vision of where things could go, a better way of how city services and the existing departments can work together, and then present myself and my qualifications as a person to do the job.
Why don't you tell us something about your background?
Sure. Well, I majored in economics in college. I worked in manufacturing for several years. I'm actually originally from California. I'm not originally from Chicago. I've lived in the South Loop for 11 years. In the most recent past, I've been involved in various neighborhood capacities, including most recently president of my condo association for the last 7 years, and speaking to South Loop residents now, because condo association or living is really the predominant form of living in the South Loop. I know very, very much at a personal and at a financial level how condo issues and how the city involvement in those issues affects, sometimes in a negative way, the residents. I was on 2 local school councils for 2 years, so I have a good idea of how the school system operates, how CPS operates, both for the good and for the bad when things aren't done the right way. I'm currently on a Park District Advisory Council, so I can see how park issues and Chicago Park District issues affect the neighborhood. I've been involved in my CAPS program in my local beat, and I've even gone to other beat meetings, so I know how the whole police protection situation and how the districts being split up can affect positively or negatively residents of a given area. And most recently, for the last couple of years, I've those in the South Loop that know me really well, I've done a community newsletter where I basically send out a lot of information over email about stuff going on in the neighborhood, informing people, facilitating your right to know, as I like to say, is the motto of my newsletter. And then the other thing that I did is I did form a local community group of sorts of condo board presidents in the Printers Row area of the South Loop to basically get together and be sort of an information exchange and an advocacy board for condo issues and to kind of support and help each other. So it comes down to information exchange. It comes down to getting information out there, and then with that being familiar with all of the issues that affect the various neighborhoods, and then being able to come up with a better vision and a better set of solutions to implement that vision.
Well, you've certainly been involved in just about every aspect. I mean, I hate to say it, but guys like Sonny Hirsch and I, we're involved in, we've been involved in almost all that stuff too, with CAPS,
Sure.
Local boards and all that. And I think it's great when you get involved with the community in that kind of way, and you really do get a chance to see things from a lot of different angles. What do you actually do for a living right now?
Well, right now I am blessed enough to be the stay-at-home dad of my kids, and so I get to kind of have a lot of time with them right now. They're 2.5 years old, and
they're here today, as a matter of fact.
They're actually here today.
You want to say hi to them on the air?
Sure. Hello, Enrique, Landon, and Dorothy. How are you? They're probably over there with a caretaker a little bit, okay,
right.
So it's probably best to leave them set. They might actually come out here.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, they're one of the main concerns and main reasons that I have in terms of wanting to even run for an elected office such as alderman, because I think a lot of the issues that are going to affect them in the very near future around schools, particularly schools, and issues that are already affecting me and a lot of my friends and neighbors around condo issues and development issues in the South Loop specifically, are things that an alderman has a very strong impact, a very strong say in trying to resolve. And then by extension, since I'm not running for alderman of the South Loop, but alderman of the Second Ward, and the Second Ward is so huge, as I go out to the other areas of the Second Ward, especially on the west side, the issues take on a whole different dimension, kind of dire in some cases in terms of what some of the people are going through. Joblessness is a big problem, crime is a problem, lack of good schools in some areas of the ward, or struggling schools is a problem. And then you get into things of how the city operates, how city services are distributed, the whole thing about transparency and how decisions are made. It just kind of makes me want to get in there even more and try to tackle some of these problems.
Cool. You want to give us your contact information?
Sure. Well, there's a number of ways you can contact me. You can contact me at www.enrique4alderman.com. That's probably the best way now to contact me, but you can also contact me via my old email address, which is perezeg@aol.com, or you can simply just call me at 312-939-1997.
Very good. We want to thank you very much, Enrique Perez. Good luck with the
Thank you
campaign.
so much for having me on board here in your show. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. And I also want to thank Poppy Perez, and I can't roll my R's, for bringing you and for bringing you to our attention. And good luck on the campaign trail.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank you.